What up, though, y'all? It's Chris, broadcasting from the D. Starbucks is in the algorithm. You guys know I do go to Starbucks. I go to Starbucks a bit. Well, not as much as I used to, man, but that's mostly because that pumpkin spice chai latte, it's not hitting the same like it did last year. All right, last year, it was too good. I drank that way more than I should have, considering my body goals. Right, it was so delicious. It was creamy. It was pumpkin-y. It was just so fantastic. I was drinking I don't know, man. I was getting like one a day, I want to say. I was having it way too often. I guess it's a blessing in disguise that this year it's ass. I went and I got one because it's pumpkin spice season, man. Went and got one. First off, they didn't have it in Trenta like they did before. Venti was the largest size. I know, man. First world problems, but we talking about Starbucks, so of course it's first world problems. But it capped out at Venti. I was like, okay, well, whatever. I'll go on and get it anyway. I did. The texture of it was off. It was really watery. And the flavors wasn't hitting like they was last year. So I was like, man, I'm good on this. I'm not coming and getting no more. And that was a couple weeks back. And I've stayed true to my word. I've not went back there and got any more. So I'm not too bothered by the closings, but it does suck for a lot of people, man. Let's get into it. Starbucks, 400 stores are going to be closing. Now, there's a good 10 to 12 stores that I go to in the area, depending on where I'm at. There's two right by here in my gym. There's another two by home, downtown. There's two in the mall that I frequent. One on the first floor, one on the third floor, inside of Macy's. So just like that, that's three. There's another one that's a couple blocks up the street from the mall. There's one in downtown Birmingham. I go there. There's two in Royal Oak. There's one in Livonia by the Costco that I go to. There's another one on Haggerty that I mess with. So there's quite a few of them that I go to depending on where I'm at. Some I go to more than others. But yeah, I do mess with Starbucks. So hearing about the 400 store closings, I'm like, damn, man. Some of my spots is probably gonna get hit because 400 is a lot of stores, man. But what can you do? Now, how did Starbucks get here? Well, they have been getting competition, especially here in the great state of Michigan. There's a couple local coffee shops that, they've been offering the same thing that Starbucks have, but a more pleasant environment. Like Starbucks did this whole, like they did remodeling, and they made all of the locations this ugly, unwelcoming atmosphere. And I listened to what their strategy was. It was so that they wanted people to just come in and go. But ultimately, it just made me not really want to come in that often at all. Like, forget coming in and sitting with my laptop, which is what I like doing before. I just was like, I just go somewhere else, man. Or I'll just sit at home on that laptop instead. So I don't know how well that strategy has worked for them. If it's people that are like-minded to myself, the environment just being less appealing, you just didn't want to go there. They made it look cheaper, if you will. And when you're paying premium prices, you don't want the place to look cheaper and be a less welcoming environment. And in my case, with the chai latte, you don't want to pay for a premium price drink and you're getting a lesser version of it than you did literally just last year at the same time. All right, last year it was a way better tasting drink. The texture was better. And now it do feel like a lower quality product. Even the look of it was different. It didn't even look as appetizing as it did before. These things matter when you're paying $7-8 for a drink, man. You don't want to pay the same price or more for a drink and it's a lesser experience than it was. And the only thing that makes sense to me of why they would change the way that drink was is for cost purposes, so that they can kind of get a better profit margin. I've been seeing the workers complaining, and I empathize. I really do. It's ironic though, because I made a video about Starbucks just a couple months ago, and weren't the workers upset about the fact that they would have to wear a black shirt now? And I had said in that video how silly it was that Starbucks was trying to do a dress code change to kind of make the brand more appealing so that they can continue to keep you on the payroll, and you guys are being so resistant to it, and that if you don't like buying a black shirt, you're really not gonna like getting your hours cut or ultimately being unemployed. So now the very same people who were complaining about buying a black shirt in order to keep their job, about how it's unfair and it's unjust for them to force this on them and whatnot, they're now making TikTok videos really upset about the fact that they don't know what they're going to do now after losing their jobs. So 400 stores closed. The way Starbucks rolled this out, it's pretty damn shady, man. They doing their workers dirty. They're giving like 5-day notice at max. Some people are showing up to work and the doors are shut saying it's over. Others are being told that day at work, this is the last day. And some are being told, okay, you got 5 days. Man, listen, this is one of them things of why I'm not too gung-ho about the 2-week notice thing. It just really depends on the circumstances. Some jobs don't deserve a 2-week notice because they expect you to give 2-week notice. And I know this might be a little bit of a controversial take, but they expect you to give 2-week notice so that they can prepare for your exit. But when that ass about to be laid off, that same courtesy isn't extended. So if you're in a higher echelon job and you kind of want to, you know, you're good with executive level people, possibly even good with the owner, and you want to leave that bridge intact for possibly coming back in the future, then I understand the 2-week notice thing. I mean, you know, you may even give them 90-day notice, you know, just whatever the circumstances is there. But in just giving 2 weeks notice across the board for everybody, I really don't think that's necessary, because when they ready to get rid of you for whatever reason, you are not given that same 2-week courtesy. It's not cool to be coming to the door and it's locked up. I'll give y'all another example. When I worked at GameStop back in the day, we had an EB Games at Lakeside Mall. They let us work the holiday season and then let us know the day after Christmas when we came in there to work that they would not be renewing the lease with the mall. So we were either gonna have to find another store to work at, which most people weren't, or we would just be out of a job. So you see, there was no caring about us. There wasn't 2 weeks, all right? They were saying that January 1st, they told us December 26th, that January 1st, we'd be out of a job. I'm just saying, man, that 2-week notice stuff, think about who you want to deal that to, because not everybody deserves it. I think the most shocking thing here for me is the amount of people that don't have any type of savings whatsoever. And people are like, it's so hard to save, this economy, everything costs so expensive. I can agree with that to a certain extent, but many people do a lot of really just fruitless spending. I have a friend who a couple years ago was crying and complaining about being broke, yet they had went to 3 comic conventions in the span of 2 months. 2 of those comic conventions were a week apart. One weekend, and then they went to another one the following weekend. Meanwhile, they have other things that need to be addressed, and they're talking about they don't have the money for it. Well, no, you've had money, you've just done other things with it. So you've had resources come through your hands, but you opted to do other things. So a lot of times people, it's not the fact that they have a money earning problem, they have a spending problem. So I tell you guys about the emergency fund. I know some people are against it. They like, nah, what I need an emergency fund for, this and that. And that may work for them. So no shade at people who are like, my life is together to where I don't need an emergency fund. You may not be like them though, so you probably do need one. An emergency fund. You need 3 to 6 months worth of expenses. Look at what your monthly expenses are and multiply that by 3. I recommend 6, but at least 3. That way, in the event that you get laid off from one of these fickle jobs in this economy, you're not freaking out in TikTok videos like these people are. Now, if let's say you got 6 months saved up, don't jack off the money, all right? Like, use what you need to, spend what you must for living expenses, but stay on the grind looking for another job. You don't want to be 2 weeks away from when you're about to be completely out of money, and now you want to start looking for a job. That's silly. Get started looking for work right away. You just have a cushion to where you can still eat and you can still pay your rent or whatever. So my recommendation, and this isn't financial advice, this is just me giving y'all some real world life advice. My recommendation to you, 6 months of living expenses. Put it in a high yield savings account. Do some little bit of research, find out who's giving you the best interest rate. Put it in a high yield savings account. Don't ever touch it. Let it go ahead and accrue its interest and its compound interest. Don't ever touch it. If you don't need it immediately, great. Who knows? 5 years from now, you may need it though. 10 years from now, you may need it. Whatever it is, leave it in there so that it's there in the event that life happens, man. So Starbucks, obviously this rebranding thing, it's not been working out for them. Their biggest Achilles heel has been some Chinese brand, along with other local brands, offering the same thing that they offer at a lower price, on average 30% less, which is very enticing, and a better environment. They're offering the type of environment that Starbucks used to offer, and they're giving prices 30% lower than what Starbucks currently is. It's only a matter of time before that scenario is going to put you in a bind. So I don't know where they're going to go from here. As I said, it's a good 12 different stores in the greater Metro Detroit area that I go to. I just haven't been going there all that much really lately. But the ones over in the area, I might check them out. The 2 that are over around here by my gym, I might check them out today. It's about time I get that Trenta black iced tea that I enjoy so much with my 7 Splenda, whatever. It's about time I get over there and get that, because I haven't had it in a while. If I can. I mean, that particular store I'm thinking of may not even be open. So we shall see. I'm gonna leave it there though, you guys. Let me get in here and get this workout here. Hit me with a like if you like what I do. Hit me with a sub if you like what I do. Hit me in them comments. I'm gonna holler at y'all. Peace.